like science.
I like science.
I like science.
Dave, I feel like we've been here before.
Science.
Flashback. How do you mean, though? That Voyager? Apparently, I'm going to be phlegmy in this episode.
Same. You've got two phlegmy hosts today, guys. Sorry.
Must be the garlic and butter.
I don't think that has anything to do with it. I was phlegmy well before lunch. So
Right. But
anyway.
how do you mean that we've been here before on Voyager?
Well, yeah, on Voyager, but also, it's a flashback thing. So
Oh, flashback.
There you go. Because
Oh,
we're covering the episode Flashback.
like a
Season
deja
3.
vu kind of thing.
Season 3 of Voyager, episode 2. Excuse me. I'm going to try and mute myself whenever I have to clear my throat, so apologies. So this one, Dave, do you recall ever seeing this one?
No, it's early days, so I could have forgot it. But it might also be one of those situations where it got preempted because that happened to Voyager all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows?
Yep.
You've rewatched various Star Trek series, so you're bound to have watched this at some point, you would think.
Oh yeah, I've seen this episode probably 3-4 times. Well, 4 times now.
Right.
But it's been a while since I've rewatched Voyager, so when it said flashback, and I'm like, okay, flashback. I bet that's the one when Tuvok has something in his brain. Hello, kitty. Come on. That's causing him problems, and
Right.
it's a flashback to an earlier time. So
To a scene from Cliffhanger.
it was seen from Cliffhanger. Yes.
Yep.
I've never seen Cliffhanger.
Expected him to fight John Lithgow in a helicopter towards the end of the episode.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
The little girl would be John Lithgow.
Oh, no, not quite. That's not quite how that movie goes, though. What a
Anyway.
turn. What a twist.
It would be.
That climbing partner you thought died turns out to be your enemy after plastic surgery?
Yeah. Sorry, I
hell
had
of
a
a twist.
squirming cat. I had to put him up on his donut.
Yep. That he stole from you, so you had to
Yeah.
get a new one.
Yeah, I'm not mad about it. It didn't cost that much, and he's happy, and I'm happy, and I don't have to, drag it out from under him when he's sleeping. So
Yeah, he likes to be surrounded by things.
he does. He likes to be. Basically, it's not an actual donut. It's a semicircular cushion
Yeah.
that basically supports your arms and your hands, and so basically like a crescent roll. Think of it like a crescent roll. So
Yeah,
but
it's
I call
something
it a
you can
donut.
tuck around you so you can rest your arms like armrests, like if
Yeah.
you're laying on a sofa or in a chair that doesn't have cushioned armrests or armrests at all.
Yep, all of those things. They're very convenient. I highly recommend them. So yeah, flashback. Where do you want to start? At the beginning?
Well,
In the middle?
they're investigating a gaseous anomaly, and that's what
Gaseous
triggers it all.
I got
That's
really
the term
excited
we
about
still
that.
use after eating like lots of beans or something.
I become a
we
gaseous
become
anomaly.
gaseous anomalies. So
Yep.
how often gaseous anomaly gets mentioned in this episode? You could make a drinking game out of it. But yeah, Tuvok sees a gaseous anomaly, and that triggers a panic response as he has this memory that he doesn't actually remember, which is weird because apparently he's had this memory for like 80 years, but it's been suppressed because he's a Vulcan. And that's what they do. If there's a harmful memory, they just bury it, which seems healthy.
Well, that's the thing though, is that it's also part of the virus
Right.
that makes you do that.
Yeah, and that seems to be a virus that was meant for humans originally. And just because he was on the same ship as this Dimitri guy, he caught it from this dude, Tuvok caught it from Dimitri. And yeah, because he's a Vulcan, their physiology, I guess the way memory works for Vulcans is different, especially when it's traumatic memory. And so it affects him differently than it would a human.
Yeah. One thing on gaseous anomalies. Here's the fun part, because this is basically the recollection of his first assignment on the Excelsior.
Right.
And this is during the time where Sulu is the captain. This is the time where Praxis explodes. And the funny thing is that at the close to the end of the movie, where they're trying to figure out that I'm talking about Star Trek 6, and they're trying to figure out how to track this Klingon bird of prey that can fire when cloaked.
Mhm.
And Uhura says, well, what about all that equipment we have for cataloging gaseous anomalies? The
Right.
thing's got to have a tailpipe.
Yep.
So gaseous anomalies, just the big connection in this one.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. The even the fact that there are two different classifications of nebula or
Mm,
nebulae, because Harry Kim says that one's a class 17 and one they think is the other is the
class
class
11.
11,
Mm-hmm.
but they both contain ceruleum, and they thought maybe that was the link.
Nope.
It's kind of funny too that everybody wants the ceruleum for their own projects. Like we could make shields, we could make stronger weapons, we could use it for storing food.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It could be an energy source for them.
Right,
And they are in the Delta Quadrant where there isn't a lot of compatible energy alternatives.
right.
So when they find something that can be compatible, they definitely want to harvest it if they can, or harness it, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
whichever one you want to say.
Yeah.
The thing is, I do like the way it began, which is Neelix making Tuvok breakfast.
Yeah, that juice looked pretty tasty, though I imagine it was probably acidic because that was the concern that Tuvok had. Because if
Mm-hmm.
someone else had tried it and actually had two glasses of it, and it's like, well, their tongues are like calloused or something, so corrosive elements don't affect that particular species as much. And here's the thing about Neelix is calling Tuvok Mr. Vulcan.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't call anybody else Mr. Human
No,
or Miss Half Klingon. It's just weird.
it's
I know
Neelix. Of
it's
course, it's weird.
Neelix and it's
It's
supposed to
his
kind
thing.
of make him like charming or something, but if you really think about it, it's downright offensive. It's like some calling somebody Mr. Latino or something. It's just wrong
Fair. That's
and like
fair.
evidently wrong. And there's other Klingons on board, we find out. So it's like Mr. Klingon, just he's got a name, call him Tuvok.
Yeah, there are other Vulcans, I think you meant to say, on board.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Vulcans. There's other Vulcans on board,
Yep,
which
but
he
we're
even
not.
mentions when he wants you know, going to do a mind meld to retrieve this buried memory.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He doesn't know these other Vulcans that well, and
Nope.
he and Janeway are tight, like
Yep.
super tight.
Yeah, and you need somebody you trust, and usually it's a family member, but he has no family members available, so Janeway is the next best thing.
Yep. And besides, the one other Vulcan that we see on a regular basis, yeah, I wouldn't want to meld with him either.
Right,
What's his name now? Toric? Is it Toric? I can't remember.
right.
Oh, sorry guys. I should have looked it up, but I didn't.
No
So,
worries.
and now
It's not like
I'm
he's in this episode.
yeah, it's not. He's not in this episode, but he is in a problematic episode later.
Right.
So yeah, it's not the actor's fault. I wrote gaseous anomaly down in big capital letters. I love that they mentioned that they wanted to get this gas, this whatever it is, the ceruleum,
Uh-huh.
collecting it through the Bussard collectors.
Yep.
We haven't heard of the Bussard collectors for a minute now.
I remember it being ceruleum because cerulean is a kind of blue, and both nebulas were blue.
Actually, cerulean
Cerulean blue,
is a
that's
blue.
right, which is like a sky blue.
Yeah. And so ceruleum, I don't know if that's an actual thing. Probably not, simply because they're in the Delta Quadrant.
Right.
But, who knows? So every time
But,
he has, I'm sorry, go ahead.
oh, I was just saying it was something that was in the other nebula too, so, it wouldn't be only on the Delta Quadrant. It seems to be
Oh,
one in Alpha
fair.
as well.
Well, they said I think that there was less ceruleum in the ones
Mm,
in the Alpha Quadrant
right.
that were traces, but not a lot. So, I did write down he was in cliffhanger exclamation question mark.
Yep.
So basically, Tuvok is trying to make it better by playing with his blocks. Kithara is what it's called,
It's building blocks.
which means structure of harmony. And they find out nothing's emanating from the nebula. I just hit my hand. That really hurt.
Ow.
And that's when Tuvok, he's got a monitor on, and he was talking about the Klingons being so close, and Janeway's like, no, they're on the other side of the galaxy.
Yeah, he reports back to duty because he figures that, he's cleared. And just as soon as they're back, is like, well, that's dangerously close to Klingon space. And like, what are you even talking about? We're in the Delta Quadrant. And he's like, oh, yeah, that is an obvious error. I need to go back to sickbay.
Yeah, well, that's a frightening thing for anybody. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, it's terrifying for a Vulcan because they don't make mistakes like that. And honestly, it anyway. I
Yeah.
feel bad for him because he's a being who prides himself on his control, on his logic, etc. And now that's all going out the window without his permission, and he's just really losing it. So,
Well, even as much as he's losing it, he still has the wherewithal to admit that he's having an episode,
mhm,
request to go to sick bay, and talk with the doctor about the issue. It's not
yep,
one of these things where he's hiding the zombie bite.
nope,
He
because
he
he's logical.
understands, yeah, that there's something wrong with him, and the best course of action is to see the doctor and have him look at it to see what is going on, what the effects are. And it takes a long ass while to get to what the undergoing cause is, but through the process, the doctor admits that because of his Vulcan physiology, that buried memories of this nature cause brain damage when
Mm,
left unattended. That these occasional episodes where he's remembering it, each time it happens, it like damages him. And the best course of action is to retrieve the memory and process it and to come to terms with it rather than having it interrupt his life. And each time it does that, it adds more stress to the point where he was having panic attacks, which
mhm.
Vulcans typically do not do.
Yep, I
Elevated
felt
heart
that.
rates and confused thoughts and sweating and so
Yep,
on.
been there, been there.
Yeah.
Not fun,
Oh
not
yeah, I've had
fun.
panic attacks too. It's first one I had was on the upstairs of a comic book shop, and I have no idea why I had it.
Mm,
Might have just been overwhelmed with the stuff surrounding me, but it was the first time. It's like I couldn't breathe. My heart rate was racing. I was starting to flop sweat,
mm.
confused thoughts, paranoia.
Yeah, for me, it's usually just being around too many people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just overstimulation or something. Who knows what triggers it? Could be anything.
Yeah, well, it's hard enough when there's just lots of people around, but it's the dull roar of noise is
Yeah.
also part of it. And then if I'm being crowded in with a
Yeah.
lot of people, that's when I go off the deep end.
Well, that's part of the claustrophobia too, which could trigger a panic attack, because that would be a panic response to, a
Yep.
phobia. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, um, anyway, he's gonna do a mind meld with Janeway because she is the only person that he trusts enough to let her see his mind.
Yep.
And when he starts the mind meld, double-handed mind meld. Ooh,
Yeah, intense. Double
ooh.
fisting it.
Yeah, double fisting it. And that's when they find out they're on the Excelsior. And she's supposed to be, she's like a ghost. No one could see her.
Right.
And Tuvok basically is talking to her, but also playing his part in how that particular situation went down. It's
Yep.
interesting because when it that starts them in there, it's like It's right after Praxis has exploded and the shockwave has hit them. But
Hmm.
Janeway doesn't know that yet. And so basically he resets to an earlier time. And we see our lovely ensign from the original series. Good Lord, I cannot remember her name. But she was the one that had the basket hair, remember?
Right. Yep.
Yeah. So, but she's serving with Sulu on the Excelsior now. So, and
Hmm.
she's the communications officer. So,
Yep. She comes in and talks about how they're all going to keep the Federation safe from gaseous anomalies or something like that. And everybody laughs and they go to their stations. And meanwhile, Tuvok is preparing tea for the
mm-hmm.
captain. He
Yep.
says it's not to curry favors, but it's not for somebody other than the captain.
No.
You're currying favor. It's
I.
the whole thing that Vulcans do not like is if you are making it for somebody who just happens to like tea, fine. It's the captain. And you
Mm-hmm.
notice the captain likes tea. You're preparing for the captain tea.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to impress him.
Yeah. Well, he was pretty young at the time. He was only
Yeah.
29 at this period
Which
in his
is
life.
young for a Vulcan for sure.
Basically, it's like a teenager,
Yeah.
barely a teenager in
Yeah.
Vulcan years. But that means why does Ponfar start at 14? That's not good.
Yeah, 14 is rough. 21,
That's
sure.
yeah, 21
14,
should
oof.
is when it should start, not 14. I mean, 21 for a Vulcan is still pretty young to be starting Ponfar, but
Yeah.
anyway. So when you consider that their lifespan is about 200 years, 150 to 200 years,
Yeah.
give or take, that's like being an adolescent. Like it's weird to me.
Yeah.
But I think I don't think he was trying to stand out or curry favor. I think that he thought this is a human captain. I need to do something that shows that I understand humans.
Well, he was
And
reluctant to join Starfleet anyway.
oh, his
He only did
parents forced
so,
him.
yeah,
Yeah.
pressured because of his parents, which is weird because that's like antithetical to what Spock went through, but then this is later than Spock as well.
Mm-hmm.
Not by much, but by some.
Yeah. But by some, I
That
mean,
the Vulcan human alliance thing is not particularly strong.
well, Vulcans.
Yeah. So I guess the idea was that it would be good for him to expand
Mm-hmm.
because his actual plan was to take that ritual that flushes you of all emotion.
Olinar.
And so you're just purely logical being. And
Yeah.
he happened to fall in love before he could finish that and have a
Tech
family.
technically Ponfar hit first.
Right.
Then he mated
Yeah, he took a
with
mate, fell in love with
what is her
her,
name?
and
I
developed
wrote it
a
down.
family. Yeah, had a family.
I wrote it down. I
T'Pring.
wrote it
No,
down. It's
that's
not
somebody
to
else.
Pring. It's to something. To Pel. There it is. To Pel.
Ah,
Which is see the whole thing about Kolinar, I get it, but at the same time, what do you do then? Like, what's your life like
I
after
think
that?
the pure pursuit of logic. So it's probably like becoming a research scientist, maybe, or it might be the Vulcan version of self-help or something like that, where you become a guru, where you can lead others towards logic.
I don't think that's how it works.
So I don't know. Or maybe it's like being a monk.
Yeah,
That's
that's
something
probably
we
what it
have
is.
here is just people that hole up in some monastery somewhere and just live a spiritual life, and that's the end of it. And maybe they make honey or beer or something besides being in meditation and prayer, but mostly it's just living a spiritual life
Yeah,
as
but
an
this
ascetic.
Kolinar isn't spirituality.
No, well, the way Vulcans approach logic, it might as well be a spiritual thing.
Mm.
It's
They would find
treated
that
as such.
illogical.
They would, but the comparisons, I think, are pretty clear
Yeah.
that as a religious person pursues faith, a Vulcan would pursue logic.
Yes, but pursuing logic to the point where you no longer have any other thing.
Right.
That means no emotions of any kind. That means you don't love, you don't laugh, you don't get angry, you don't get sad. It's just logic.
Well, you look at with religion, vow of celibacy, vow of silence, vow of humility.
Yeah, but
It's
that doesn't shut
just
down everything
right.
else.
Yeah, I guess not.
It's only one aspect.
Yeah.
Whereas Kolinar is the aspect, only aspect, this is what you are now, logic.
Well, knowing Vulcans, how much is that true?
Yeah, I
Because they
know.
say Vulcans do not lie, but we know otherwise. I mean,
I
even
think that
Sulu says that you might say that Vulcans don't have a sense of humor, but I know otherwise.
this is true because, Spock.
Yeah.
So, because Spock has a sense of humor.
Mm.
All versions of Spock have a sense of humor.
So it might not be pure logic, but might be prioritizing logic to the expense of everything else. But
Yeah.
to completely abandon any emotion other than just pure reason, I mean, that's irrational in its own right because fear serves a purpose.
Yes.
And without fear, you would act in an irrational way because
And
you would approach things that could harm you. And so fear is a rational response to things. It's when fear is attached to something that's not going to hurt you that it becomes irrational.
mhm.
And that's where stress and anxiety come from, is that we're having very real fear response to something that could kill us in situations that won't, like talking in front of a small audience or asking for a raise, things like that. That, it's the same biological response we would have to a saber-toothed tiger,
Mm.
but we're having that for just having a surprise birthday party.
Yeah, well, I don't like being startled,
Yeah.
but it, Spock didn't go through with it anyway because
Yeah.
that's when he sensed V'ger, and there we go. We're just pulling in all of these TOS movie things because this directly intersects with one.
Oh yeah, because yeah, this memory is attached somewhat. The time he first acquired this memory is during this scenario when Dimitri dies from an exploding panel where they
Mhm.
keep all the explosives.
Yep.
Which is funny because you don't normally see people warn them that their panel's about to explode. But here we have Tuvok going, hey, there's a power buildup behind your panel. You might want to, and then boom.
Yeah, and no, Dimitri went and said one more second. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, I'm almost, and then kabang, and then Dimitri dies.
yeah,
But not before going, Tuvok, which is part of the memory too, is having your name called out to you as somebody's about to die.
yep,
So you think, oh, that's the connection. This guy says Tuvok and then dies. This little girl says Tuvok and then dies. It's like, not quite.
no. No, it's not. It's interesting how they splice in scenes from Star Trek Six: The Undiscovered Country, like when the shockwave hits, and there's
Right.
like, oh, we're detecting the shockwave, and then when it hits them, and all hell breaks loose, his teacup falls down. We didn't know that
Hmm.
that was full of Tuvok's tea at the time. Oh my God.
Right. Yep.
And so all of that is from the movie, like the visual effects are from the movie, all of that's from the movie. And you can actually tell if you look at it carefully, because the time between, or the difference between the movie and this particular episode, Sulu's hair is slightly different. They
Mm.
try
Yeah.
really hard, but they can't quite get it the way it was in the movie. Everybody else looks exactly. All right, we solved our technical difficulty. Sorry,
Uh-huh.
guys. Sorry about that. So yeah, we were talking about splicing stuff between the movie and the television episode. And I think that they did a pretty good job, really.
Yeah, I don't think I would have noticed really unless I had seen the movie recently.
I've seen that movie probably 100 times, and that's why I noticed
Yeah.
these things. But God, it was sure good to see George Takei as Sulu again.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nice to have him. We saw him in the thumbnail, so it was kind of a spoiler. It's like, oh, Sulu's in this one.
Yeah, well, I told you which episode this was
Right.
before we even watched it. So, because I'm like, oh, I know which episode this is, and I didn't even have to look it up because I
Nice.
usually don't. I usually just watch it. So, but this one I remembered. So, obviously.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Good. That's good.
so yeah, basically Praxis is exploded and they get hit by the shockwave and playing out the last of that particular scene with Sulu on the bridge, and then it switches to the Voyager episode and Tuvok there. And basically they find out that not Spock, McCoy and Kirk have been arrested,
Right.
and they are being tried on Kronos for murder. And Sulu's like, nope, we're going to get him. And Tuvok's like, uh-uh.
Yeah, he files a complaint,
Mm-hmm.
basically saying that this is against regulations and he won't stand for it.
Yep.
And Sula says, well, you're right and you're wrong because, yeah, the regulations aren't everything. When you've served with people as long as I have, you got to do something about it because we
Mm-hmm.
can't just abandon them to the Klingons when this is, we might trigger a war, but what's going to happen if they execute these Starfleet members without, due process or whatever? Well, they are getting due process, but without sufficient evidence, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, it's yeah, it's a big fat fucking mess is what it is.
Well, yeah.
So, and it's all Chang's fault. So, but that's another story. You can go watch The Undiscovered Country and get the other side of that. But it's fun watching Janeway there with him, and he'll be talking to her, but then he steps into his dialogue when it's his time to have his dialogue because
Yeah,
that's just the way this is going. It's his
uh,
brain.
it's important that he plays out the memory as it happens. So,
Mm-hmm.
because Janeway's there as an observer,
Yep.
but we know that memory is flawed. But being a Vulcan, I mean, this is pretty much what we'd expect to have happened.
Yeah.
And
And
it doesn't really show him in the best light either.
no, but he
So,
was very, very young and impertinent.
but yeah, Janeway's there to observe and not actually interfere, while Tuvok is switching back and forth between reliving the memory and communicating with Janeway, who's there as his guide.
Yep. And so Sulu decides that they're going to go through this gaseous anomaly. It's like it's what is it, the Azure Nebula or something like that? I didn't write. I wrote it down somewhere. Yeah. Um, so that'll give them cover to approach Kronos and
Right.
hopefully get McCoy and Kirk out of there. It doesn't go well. There's Klingons
No.
hiding in the nebula.
Yeah, they get detected. They get told that they'll receive an escort because Sulu basically lies that they got lost there because of damage from, I guess, this blast, and that
Yeah,
their
from
navigation is
Praxis.
messed up and their communications are a little messed up. So,
And it was
yeah,
Kang. It was lovely to see Kang. Hi,
yeah, Kang
Kang.
was there.
Missed you, man.
Yeah.
So if you don't know who Kang is, guys, go to Memory Alpha and figure it
Mhm.
out. But you should know who Kang is by this time. But yeah, they do a bluff and they escape Kang, but there are three more Klingon ships on their ass.
Yeah.
Didn't go well. Didn't go well.
Yep, and they already have torpedoes trained on them, so like, well, this isn't gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just have to leave.
Yep. So they left. And, but, if you've watched the movie, you know that Sulu and the Excelsior do show up at the final battle, per
Right.
se, because they're in the sky, they're in space while the Federation president, yes, that's his name. Played by Kurtwood Smith, who has played
Right.
so many different characters in
Hmm.
so many different things. He has been in more than one Star Trek thing.
Right.
And I love the guy. I really do. What a name, Kurtwood. Who
Yes.
who thought that
Yes,
was a
indeed.
good idea to name your kid? But hey, it's
Hmm.
memorable.
It might be
Um,
family name too, so who knows?
yeah. So basically, they're trying to basically Kirk's on his way on the Enterprise. Sulu's on his way on the Excelsior. They finally get within range, but the Klingon bird of prey is firing at them. But anyway, we don't see that part of it. We get to hear about it,
Right.
how that worked out. And I do like that Janeway talks about how back then, there were fewer rules and
Yeah.
they played things fast and loose. It was basically what I think was referred to as cowboy diplomacy. But
Yeah, it
it wasn't
was.
referred to that in this episode, but
Yeah.
it has been referred like that in the past.
Yeah, they're quick to pull a phaser, slow to use the prime directive.
Hmm.
So yeah, that is very much the Wild West,
Yeah.
and you know,
It's wagon
according to
train in
development.
science
Yeah,
fiction. That's what it
yeah,
is. It's wagon
yeah.
train.
So, and even Janeway saying that they would have been drummed out of Starfleet by the standards they had now.
Yep.
So, yeah,
So yeah, this they get stuck though. Janeway Tuvok is starting to backslide. Janeway can't tell that because she's on the inside of the meld and not the outside. The doctor is
right.
trying to break the meld and he can't. And he's like, if I don't get this sorted, he is going to die or be a vegetable for the rest of his life. And so on the outside, it's a whole bunch of flurry and excitement. And on the inside, it's just Tuvok having headaches again and the flashback again. And yeah, I find the reason for all of this extremely dissatisfying.
Yeah, this is a lot of build up for nothing,
Yeah.
for, damp squib, a wet fart. That all this is going on, and meanwhile, Kess and the doctor are looking at these engrams
Hmm.
from the memories, and they're forming like waveforms between Janeway and Tuvok, and they start to sync up because, they're sharing the same memory. But there's a third thing there that they start noticing, and it starts highlighting in red, and it's mimicking the memory engram, and they start to isolate it and start using radiation to reduce it. And it turns out it's a virus.
Yeah, and it jumps to Janeway because they got it out
Yeah.
of Tuvok, but now it jumps to Janeway.
Well, also Tuvok's in danger of dying, and
Hmm.
it seems to leave hosts once they die because these memories can cause death, apparently.
Yeah.
And so, while it's going back and forth and about to die, we see multiple people who have had this memory. We see a little redhead girl. We see, of course, the young
Janeway.
Tuvok. We see the young Dimitri, and we hear the name Dimitri, but in my memory, it's a little kid with a goatee. Because, the actor Dimitri had a goatee, so I figured if they're going to show the young version, they have to make it so we can identify. So stick that goatee on that kid. We see a Cro-Magnon kid, so that shows that this virus is ancient. It's
Yep.
prehistorical. It goes back to Neanderthals.
Hmm.
So it's odd and unsatisfying that this virus survives by mimicking a bad memory that people would rather suppress. And so it can sustain itself because it's not something you're going to think about. You're going to push it to the back of your mind, and there
Hmm.
it lives. And then when the host dies, it transfers to somebody else and gives them that suppressed memory. And so all these people having memories of this girl slipping out of their hand and falling. Is that we don't know if that's an original memory from somebody somewhere back in time or if it's just something the virus does. I mean, even the doctor says there's no way to know if this was an original memory. It's even possible it's twisted and mutated since the original memory, so we wouldn't be able to track what the original source was. So it all amounts to nothing. This girl means nothing. This event means nothing. It's just a fabrication from this weird brain virus.
Hmm. But it would have killed Tuvok.
It would have killed Tuvok, but also it was interesting that he suppressed this memory.
Hmm.
And what was that about? What's the story? Whose memory? Because I thought maybe when Dimitri died, there was kind of that weird sharing of Katra thing where the memory transferred from the dying guy to Tuvok, and that's where the origin of the memory came from, which makes sense. That's a thing that could happen. Tuvok could absorb the memory from somebody dying if he was connected to them somehow, and be considering it was his bunkmate, you'd think they'd be closer than most. But nope, it's a virus that got transferred from Dmitri to Tuvok, and it's a virus that somehow didn't get detected since prehistory.
Hmm.
It was only in this moment because it was in Tuvok and they were attempting a mind meld way to get rid of it that they discovered it.
It makes you wonder how many countless people we're fed on by this thing.
Yeah, that passed on this virus from one person to another, or how many other viruses similar to this is, if this is the only one.
Yep.
But
Who
maybe,
knows?
you know, now that they know this is a thing, they can inoculate for it, and anybody who does have it, they can treat,
Yep.
get rid of it, use this radiation treatment and obliterate the virus whether they have it or not, you know, just since they might not be able to distinguish it from a true memory.
Yeah, they may be the first to actually discover what it is
Yeah,
and
very weird.
how it works and how to treat it, etc. So, doctor making strides forward
Well,
in the medical
it's
world.
typical. Yeah, he's really at a forefront for medical discoveries throughout all of Star Trek, I think.
Yep.
The emergency medical hologram is particularly unique in medical discoveries. You know, being in the
Yep.
Delta Quadrant for one thing, but just I think his very nature that he's programmed to do this sort of thing.
But he's not. He has
Yeah,
learned.
yeah,
All he was for emergencies. He did
yeah,
basic stuff, but he expanded his programming and he learned
right.
and he became something more than just an emergency medical hologram.
Yep. So yeah, kind of disappointing ending. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good episode for the Doctor.
Hmm.
Good episode for Janeway and Tuvok, and we get a little bit of Neelix and Kess in there too.
A little bit
But
of
yeah,
Chakotay, not
a
much.
little bit of Chakotay, but not yeah, not a
Some
whole lot.
Harry. They got some Harry Kim.
Yeah, Harry was good in that. It was kind of funny that they're talking in Janeway's office, I guess,
Yeah, her ready
and
room.
she gets up to leave back to the sick bay, and for a second I was like, "Is she just gonna leave Kim there?" And then he starts walking behind her. It's like, ah, it's like not gonna leave Kim behind in your office, are you? Because that's weird. But no, he started following her out, and it's like, okay, that makes sense.
Well, I think it's assumed that if the captain is leaving the
Yeah,
ready
Captain leaving,
room,
you leave the
whoever
office
else
too.
is
You go
there.
back to your post
Yeah.
of duty.
Yep.
But yeah, it was kind of funny. They started following her. So he's gonna follow her all the way to sick bay because that seems to be, invasion of privacy kind of thing. But no, he didn't show up in sick bay.
Yeah, he probably
He
went back to his
must have,
station.
yeah, went back to his station.
Yeah. So, anything else you want to say about this episode, my love?
There was a little bit of Inception in this,
Yep.
in that I mean, Inception is dreams, but dreams and memory, very similar.
Mm-hmm.
And we have that instance where they start to share the memory and the virus is kind of fighting back and Tuvok's starting to break down, where the people in the memory see Janeway.
Yes.
And that's a very Inception thing where, if you push things too far, the subconscious reacts
Yeah.
to the person invading the space. Like how Sulu notices that the communications officer isn't there because they stole her uniform, which was a funny joke. It's like we could have just asked her for a uniform. It's like in my experience, men asking women for their clothing does not go well.
Yep. He was right on
And,
that
and
one.
Janeway's like nodding, like, yeah, I could see how that could be a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, she's never had to have the experience that we mere 21st century women have had
Right.
and 20th century women have had, and just being treated as objects and
Yeah.
not things with a brain.
Oh, it was a New York Post or not New York Post, New York Times article because Jeff Bezos, I guess, owns the Times, right? And
Whatever.
has completely scrapped the editorial page in favor of right-wing leaning people.
Of
And
course.
there's this guy there, with this opinion piece about how women have ruined the workplace. And some of the reactions to that, like this person I know on Blue Sky talking about how when she worked at a shoe store, there was a creepy guy that would um, put on shoes for the lady employees there.
Ew.
And one time there was a 10-year-old girl and he licked her foot
Ew. God, no. Why
and
wasn't he fired
only
immediately?
only then got fired. But yeah, people were complaining. It's like this guy's a creep and nothing was done about it. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like women ruining their workplace? What, for creeps like this? They ruin their own workplace by being creeps.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of a self-confession if you're writing a piece on women ruining the workplace, if you're one of the creeps and that's
Mm-hmm.
your opinion piece. And then you see a picture of the guy and it's, oh yeah, creep.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
self-evident creep. You just look at him and go, yeah, creep.
With all of our advancements,
Hmm.
and everything that we've invented and incorporated and created, and yet it's still only about the cis het white Christian guy.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, it makes me wonder if Chris Nolan had seen this episode and went, huh.
I don't know that Chris Nolan sits.
Whoa. Okay, you went robot on me. We're having
Oh,
some kind of
sorry.
weird internet issues. And
I don't think it's the internet per se. It might be
okay.
Zoom.
It just kept repeating a word over and over again, like your Max Headroom.
There's a blast from the
So
past.
I don't know if that's going to pick up on your end or,
I don't know.
I think you're recording fine, but yeah, we
Yeah.
already had you, like freeze, and then we had that weird stutter. So
Yeah.
who knows how this will turn out.
We'll find out. But anyway, anything else you want to say about the episode, Dave?
I think we've approached most of the stuff. I mean, the Inception thing is one thing I didn't actually tell you while we were watching it, but that dawned on me that as soon as the memories could interact with Janeway, it was like, oh, I
Hmm.
see. Very Inception kind of scenario. But yeah, a very interesting episode up to a point, and then it just collapses like a house of cards. The virus
Yeah.
thing just is not that interesting.
Mm-mm.
I mean, even though Tuvok's life is at risk, and it makes sense retrospectively that going into the memories, he would not go back to that original memory with the girl, which is what they were trying to do, because that's not when that happened. It happened on the Excelsior.
Mm-hmm.
It happened when Dimitri gave him the disease, where he contracted it from Dimitri. And so that's why he keeps pulling Janeway into those moments,
Yeah.
is that was his exposure to the virus.
Yeah, it sure was nice to see Sulu and a company and the Excelsior again.
Right.
And I did tell you while we were watching it that I had that teacup set that
Oh, nice.
Sulu had for his tea. I have that teacup set. I'm really annoying in that way because I'm like, oh
Yeah.
hell yes, I want that.
Well,
It's got
heck,
the Excelsior and the number on it and everything. I love it.
you got the Tom Paris collector's plate, which reminds me you didn't get out the little Christmas ornament out of the advent calendar yet.
Oh, I'll get that.
Yeah.
Anyway, be that as it may, shall we find out what episode is next?
Oh yeah, I'm supposed to do it this time, aren't I?
Yes, you are supposed to do it this
Okay,
time. We
because
found
we
a better
were,
way.
yeah.
So, yeah,
Oh,
we,
I thought you were going to continue and
no,
you
I was
just
just
thought
saying
that
we
better
found
way.
a better way. That's all I
Yep.
had to say.
Yeah, because the way we were doing it, it seemed to pick like stuff in the median.
Like right in the middle.
Yeah, so we weren't really getting any original series or new Trek. It was all stuff in the middle, like Voyager, Enterprise. I mean, granted, those are the ones with the most, but okay, you ready to go?
I am ready.
Okay. Random number between 1 and 954, right? 54,
954.
954. Okay, so that should, okay, go. 221.
Well, it's not TOS.
Well, I could roll until we get it, but that's not
No,
random.
that's not how we do it. 221. That is Conundrum, Next Generation, Season 5, Episode 14.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's what we're doing next, folks.
Conundrum. So back to Next Generation.
Conundrum. Back to
Okay, it's
Next
been a while
Generation.
since we were on Next Generation, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a minute. So, yeah, I have no complaints about that. Maybe someday we'll get something
Yep.
that's TOS. Maybe someday. But today is not that day.
Yeah.
So, Dave, do you have things you want to tell anybody?
Oh, just saw a post about somebody talking about Bandcamp Friday, and they had an interesting point in that, like, saving up all your money to buy music one day out of the month doesn't seem to be like the smartest way to support artists or the
Mm,
site. So
hmm.
I'm wondering if I should just go to buying like an album a week, maybe,
Go for it.
and just spread it out, even if, a certain day of the month, because it seems like Bandcamp might be going to a Bandcamp Friday every month
Mm,
instead of like every once in a while. But yeah, just to make it more regular, income for artists instead of, waiting for that one day a month to receive money. Just got to be difficult. So,
Yeah. Well, personally, yeah, I do stuff on Bandcamp Friday, but I buy stuff during the month. I
yeah.
don't necessarily wait for that. So a lot of times artists will put like their whole discography on sale for
Oh,
Bandcamp
yeah.
Friday and stuff like that. But again, I support them when I support them. It's like, oh,
Yep.
this person I like, they've got a new album out, I'll buy it.
And
So,
I noticed there's a whole lot of dark electro artists on Bandcamp that I didn't realize were there,
ooh,
like Velvet Acid Christ. I believe Osko's there with an album I don't have yet. I think there are a handful of others, but those are the two that stand out. So yeah, I thought I looked for the retro sick there, but they weren't there. So they
mm,
had some remixes on other people's albums, but they themselves were not on there. So that
bummer.
was somewhat disappointing because it's a favorite. But
Yep,
yeah, it might be one of those things where I'll pick up an album every week and budget that way.
sure.
And maybe that'll help with the decision paralysis I have when Bandcamp Fridays roll around.
Good
When
plan.
I'm hard pressed to get something, I can just get one thing and just leave it at that.
Yep,
Oh,
I like that
yeah,
idea.
yeah.
I think it's a good idea.
Oh yeah, we watched the new Naked Gun too. I like the
Should say
coffee
Naked
gag.
Gun as well.
Naked Gun as well. Yeah, the new Naked Gun film. And
But the coffee gag
yeah,
was great.
the coffee gag was really good. And the rest of it was like, yeah,
It was typical of Naked
yes,
Gun.
yeah, typical Naked Gun jokes. And just, you know,
There were times that I did laugh out loud,
yeah.
hard.
Yeah,
So
there's some pretty decent jokes.
yeah, but it didn't do anything groundbreaking, but that's not the
Yeah.
point of the Naked Gun
Nah,
series.
it just delivered a dumb comedy, and right now people aren't making those.
Mm-mm.
Just a dumb, silly comedy.
Yeah,
Kind of like how 21 Jump Street was.
I
Just a
loved
big dumb
21 Jump
comedy.
Street. It's a big dumb
I mean,
comedy. I
yeah,
like big
it had
dumb
some action
comedies.
to it too, and so does
It did.
this, just to add a little bit of flavor to it. But yeah.
I do love that at the end, during the credits, they brought up the old police squad
Oh yeah.
thing where it's just you just see the top of the car and the
Hmm.
light going, and then it
Yep.
keeps going into all these different places, like through a
Bowling alley.
grocery store or on in a bowling alley. I've seen it on a roller coaster.
Yep.
In the ocean, all
Yep.
those different things. It was fun. It was
Yeah.
sometimes gross, but it was fun. Big
Yep.
dumb fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how about yourself? Anything
Uh,
to add?
Not really.
Okay.
Just doing a lot of reading because I'm just a sucker for authors that I like, and
Hmm.
they keep giving me ARCs to read. I think I've talked about what ARCs are before. If you
Yeah.
don't know, then you can look it up.
Advanced copy reader or advanced reader
Advanced
copy.
advanced reader copy, yes. That means they're giving it to you before it's being published, and you agree to write a nice review, or not a nice review, but to write a review.
To
I
write a
I
review. Yeah.
I only read books from good people, so I never give them bad reviews.
Well, you're a beta reader too for some authors, so you read
I'm a
for
beta reader for some
typos
authors,
and
and I'm
stuff.
also an alpha reader for
Right.
well, it's one name, but it's two authors.
Right.
So yeah, and that's actually, something I'm really, really good at. And
Yeah.
uh
Spotting
so,
inconsistencies, like when people change tenses, or
mm-hmm,
if they say they have one item and ends up being another in the next sentence. It's like, no, that's not that kind of gun. Oh, did you freeze again? Can
a
you hear
little
me?
bit. I can hear you. I heard you the whole
Okay.
time.
All
So
right.
you're good.
Okay.
But yeah, basically, I am the person who is like, no, that's not diffuse, it's defuse.
Good.
No, that is not with an apostrophe. It's not you don't pluralize with an apostrophe. I'm that person.
Yep.
And if I can help people that I like, authors that I like with that, I am happy to do it. So,
Yeah, there's several words that are that way. Like
yep,
bury the lead, and people want to spell it Lead, and it's
that's
Lede.
LEDE.
Yeah.
Using the wrong form of rain, REIN. They mean they're reining it in, but they use
Mm.
REIGN. No,
GN because of kingship. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
When it's
not how
rein, as
that
in the
works.
reins to a horse. Yeah.
Things like that. That's the first.
Chomping
That's
at
the
the
first
bit
thing.
instead of champing at
It's
the bit.
champing at the bit. It's never been chomping at the bit. Stop
Yep.
saying it wrong.
Yep.
And if you don't believe me, go look it up on the internet, and you will
Yep.
see that I am right.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
Quash and squash.
yes, quash and squash, not the same thing. I
Yeah.
haven't come across that mistake yet in
Yeah, quash
anyone's.
is, I think, not in favorable use lately. I don't think
Yeah,
people say quash a beef anymore.
yeah. They probably just say squash now.
Yeah, probably.
But anyway,
Yeah.
all right
So
then.
next generation, next time. Conundrum.
Yep, conundrum.
Mm.
So take care of yourselves. Be good to each other.
Yep.
Do something that makes you smile.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk to you next week.
Alrighties.
Okay,
I like
bye.
Bye.